Okay, greetings. I am ambivert.brutal, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing a band from Italy. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hello, this is Federico from Esox. Esox is an atmospherical black metal band with well, mostly neo folk and post rock influences. It deals with themes of depression, nihilism, and the natural world, and it approaches it with both a philosophical and mainly scientific background.
Very interesting. Thank you, and it's a pleasure to have you. So, for my first question, Watery Grave is described as a concept album about a man's suicide by drowning. What inspired you to explore such a heavy and emotional narrative?
Well, it was mostly due to personal experiences. Not that I have ever drowned, but the music came first, and the themes soon followed later because I wanted to make a record that was influenced by bands such as Agalok or Ulver, but I always figured out that black metal music about like nature was always centered around the woods and forests and stuff, whereas I was always more interested in the underwater world. And so I started writing the lyrics, and the concept all came around. It was also like a briefly dark period of my life when I was writing the music and the lyrics for the album. And I always wanted to um, make a concept, not just unlinked songs. And so the concept of a man drowning and reflecting on the world just came about.
It's very interesting. So, then your album blends genres like atmospheric black metal, doom, shoegaze, post rock, and neo folk. How did you manage to bring these different elements together into a cohesive sound?
Well, those are this type of music that I listen to the most. And when I write, I don't want to just make one genre of music. It was never about that. And so the influences of all that I listened to again came cohesively into the songs that I try to write. More like each song tells a story, and each story needs the right pacing. It can't be full blast for 10 minutes. Um, and so for more cleaner aspects, I chose like acoustic guitars for coming from my neo folk background, and also effects like chorus and reverb that again sound like bands like My Bloody Valentine or Slowdive. They just came about, and that's how I write stuff.
It makes a difference, so I like that. It's not, doesn't always stay to like one same sound.
Yeah, no, I think that too.
Yeah. So the lyrics seem deeply introspective and philosophical. Could you tell us more about the themes of nature, death, and human reflection present in the album?
Well, as a person, I've always been in love with nature, and I also always have like this nihilistic output on life. Or maybe a few years back, now as everyone does, I matured, and so maybe I wouldn't write the same lyrics I did when I did like 5 years ago. But also, I am starting to become. I'm a biologist. Um, Also seeing how our species is treating the planet like um, always hit me hard. Seeing nature being basically destroyed by the us humans always saddens me. It has always saddened me, um, and so that's how I put it into lyrics, which are the last thing that I always write when I write music. Um, so like the flow of the album goes through some focal points, like especially the songs in the middle of the album both treat aspects like religion or spirituality and also like personal experiences. And this fourth song, Esox Lucius, has like very personal stuff. Actually, it's kind of autobiographical, I would say. Um, that's it. That's how I write. That's basically what I think or used to think of the world, and I just put it into music.
I can agree though. The humans really are destroying the earth just for their greed.
Yeah,
So the track titles, I hope I say it correctly. You could correct me. The track titles like Livyara,
Livia.
Melville, Livia, and the next one Melville. That's
Yeah,
how I would say it. And
so,
Esox Lucius evoke powerful aquatic imagery. What significance do marine life and underwater worlds hold for you personally or symbolically?
well, those are scientific names for the first being the Leviathan, which was this uh, prehistoric sperm whale. It lived like 20 million years ago. And the second one is the scientific name for the pike, as the fish, also Esox comes from that. Well, again, as I said, I'm a biologist. I'm starting to become an evolutionary biologist. And that has always been my main focus, my main passion. I always say I'm a biologist first and a musician later, but those are my two biggest passions. And Esox has always wanted to um, forge these two things together. And so when I chose these two animals, especially were because the first Leviathan melvillei, as the name suggests, it was named after both the monster from the Bible, and Melville refers to Herman Melville, who is the author of Moby Dick. And so the tracks is written in the perspective of the sailors of the Pequod from Moby Dick, and as in the climax of the story, when Moby Dick destroys the Pequod, I imagine them as like praying to God, but God is deaf to their prayers, and they're just doomed to die at sea. And that was sort of like my way of put my how I feel about spirituality and religion into song. That for me, at least when I wrote the song, like if there's something divine in this world, that's nature, basically. We are all helpless in front of it. Whereas in Esox Lucius, it's the biographical song of the album, as in it. I wrote it in like because I was dealing with some personal stuff at the time. I would say that that's the song that probably best describes Esox as a band as well. Like there's a lot of influences, and some of the lyrics are direct references to some of the music that inspired my project as well. And also because I like pike. They're very beautiful creatures. They're very beautiful animals, and I think they're a bit overlooked. But yeah, I will most likely continue to using scientific names in my music in the future.
I like that. It's very educational as well. Really like that. So for your song, As I Descend Above the Water, sets the tone with over 10 minutes of music. Why do you choose this track to open the album, and what journey does it represent?
Well, the process of making the album, I wrote all the songs in the order that they appear on it. So that was always meant to be the opener of the album, and it's also the first song I ever wrote. But the tone is like it's a bit of a summary of what's about to come, because there's a lot of changes. It starts slowly, then it fastens up, then there's an acoustic break, and then a final climax. So I think it best fits to being the opener of the album, because it tells you about what's about to come, and also I think it sets the tone nicely, and like it aids the listener into the rest of the album. As if you follow the concept, it's when the man decides to commit suicide, and as it rains, it's pouring rain, and he chose to just let go of himself and sink to the bottom.
Was that it for your response?
What, sorry?
Was that it for your response? Because sometimes they want to, people say more, but then I tend to talk and interrupt.
Oh, no, that was it.
Okay, that's very informative though, and I heard the song and I liked it. I liked the intro especially too.
Thanks.
So you've worked on this album for 5 years. What challenges did you face during its creation, and how did the process evolve over time?
Well, the first and most important challenge was that I basically had zero experiences in uh, making music by myself. Like, I've been playing guitar for the last 12 or 13 years, also other instruments as well. But before this, I wrote a couple songs, but never recorded or doing any stuff. And then when COVID hit, I decided it was time to actually put effort into the music, because that's what I've always wanted to do when I started playing. So the first challenges were basically learning how to use DAW. Uh, Also, the As I Descend Above the Water is probably the song I've worked the most on, because I rewrote it like 6 times and recorded. I don't know how many times I tried
Wow.
re-recording it. Um, Also, then I moved out from my hometown in 2022 for university. Um, I basically, for a year and a half, I would work on the album only when I was about in my hometown. Um, but then I succeeded into moving all my instruments and recording stuff here where I live now. So then it went as smooth as possible. But I was supposed to work with a vocalist, because I still think I'm not that very good of a singer. But life gets in the way, and we're still very good friends. But I prefer to continue on my own, also because it's my project and it's my voice. I don't. Wanted to be on my own for this.
Because you put all that work in it too, so it makes sense.
Yeah. And then, yeah, the other challenges were, learning to mix and master. I did all on my own, and I'm fairly happy with how it turned out. But I will most definitely get help for production for my next works, because it's it's a lot to take, and doing stuff by yourself means you don't usually get response until after the whole thing is released. So that getting help definitely will help in improving the work that I do.
Little by little, it does improve the more you work on it. But that's good though, because it's a process. So for my next question, and I hope I pronounce it correctly, Luca Macerata or
Mashallah.
Macerata. Okay. Beside the artwork for the album, how does the visual representation connect to the music and themes of Watery Grave?
Well, first and foremost, is one of my best friends. We've been friends for, I don't know, the last 5 or 6 years, and we connected through music mainly. He is not from where I live. He lives a few hours from me, but so we connected through the internet. But we are friends in person. He is an aspiring movie director, and he is also a very good graphic designer, which I am not. So basically, when I started working on the graphical layout, I basically asked him for help and to do it, because I really trust his vision, which is fairly similar to me, because again, we like the same music, we like the same movies, we have very similar tastes. But again, he is a graphical designer, so I basically give him a blank check whenever I need some graphical things made. He made the layout for the album using the cover art is a painting from a Dutch painter. I don't remember and most likely can't pronounce the name. Um, and then it used photos that I had taken near my house. But yeah, he did the graphic layout for the booklet and the CD art as well, which is pretty nice. It's like Anurabos made of pike, and yeah, I really liked it.
That's amazing. At least you had someone to help you with that, because I know it would have been hard to do yourself if you're not like the well, not much about like designing stuff. So
Yeah, no,
that's great of him. Yeah,
I'm really bad at I don't have a graphical eye. Especially, I don't draw. I sketch a bit, but yeah, I need a professional artist for my graphics.
it's amazing. And you've also cited influences from Agalock to Werner Herzog. How do cinema, literature, or non-musical art forms impact your songwriting and vision?
Well, Agalok, I will say, is my main influence. You can definitely hear it when you listen to my stuff. They're my personal favorite band of all time, and that they're the main uh, influence in also giving me more perspective on life because through Agalok I discovered lots of literature from the 18th century, like Henry David Thoreau, which I quoted in Walden and in the River Nihilist because Walden is a book that basically changed my life, and also like others, others like Emerson, Herman Melville, and Hawthorne all helped shape my visions. But cinema as well, I would say, gave me a lot to write music about because um the songs that I write don't usually follow the classic structure of verse chorus bridge solo and chorus, whereas again I would like to tell stories with my music, and so I take more of a cinematographical approach to how I write music. And for as for cinema per se, yeah, Werner Herzog definitely inspired the last track, which also features samples from Grizzly Man, which I would argue is it's his best movie. Um, but also movies like The Wicker Man, 1922 Nosferatu, or I don't know, the old Japanese movies all help me shape my vision.
That's amazing. I haven't seen Wicker Man in a long time, but that's a good movie.
I watched it the other week. It's as good as well. I tried watching the sequel, but
You
no, that's
couldn't
not good.
watch it, huh?
No, that's not
Okay.
good.
For my next question, depression, nihilism, and the natural world are recurring themes in your work. How do you balance personal catharsis with artistic expression in Esox? Is that how you say? Yeah, right.
Well, again, it's I write through personal experiences.
Hmm.
Uh, when I wrote especially the lyrics for Watery Grave, I was in sort of a bad place mentally, and so that's how the lyrics came about. Also, it's black metal, and unless you're like agriculture, it rarely is a happy genre, unfortunately. Um, so whole personal stuff and my outlook on the world. It it's just a very personal project to me, and it's my way of turning into, I wouldn't say art, but let's say a physical form what I think. Uh, that's by doing what I try and at doing best, which is music, whereas others would draw or make movies. I make music, and that's what it comes to.